Good morning, students. My name is Arun Kumar BS, English teacher. I am working in Sri Guru Siddheshwara High School, Bindrikire, Jagalur. Dear students, today we are going to learn a beautiful and meaningful lesson, that is a day in the ashram. Before going to start the lesson, if I ask a question, what is school? You may answer that school, it is a place where the students are learning. And how was the process in the school? You may answer that teacher will teach a lesson and we will learn, and at the end we are going to write an exam. This was the process in the regular schools. What about the classes? Class means it's a hall and nearly 20 to 30 students sitting together, and teacher is giving the lecture, students are learning. This was the picture of our day-to-day classes. But the school which we are going to know is different from this atmosphere. Even though it is school, it is called as ashram. In this school, there is no classrooms. Students are doing whatever they like, what are their interests. So it is a beautiful atmosphere that every student will enjoy. So this ashram was established by the great poet Rabindranath Tagore, and it is called as Shantiniketan. So a day in the ashram, this lesson was narrated by a Christian priest who was the follower of Mahatma Gandhiji and also a freedom fighter and also a associated of Mahatma Gandhiji, Mr. C.F. Andrews. C.F. Andrews revealed his experiences and feelings about Shantiniketan. He stayed a day in the ashram and he observed the activities of Shantiniketan from morning to evening, and he described the activities in this lesson. Students, please keep your book open. Now I am going to read the lesson. C.F. Andrews is going to share his experiences with us. Words cannot picture to you the beauty of Shantiniketan. Our old poet and teacher, whom we call Gurudeva, has named it in his song, The Darling of Our Hearts, and it is worthy of the name. All who have visited the ashram, old and young alike, have felt its inner beauty growing more and more upon them. So we cannot express or we cannot explain the beauty of the Shantiniketan in words, because we have to experience that, then only we come to know the beauty of the Shantiniketan. That much of good and well atmosphere was there in that Shantiniketan. And Gurudeva, we call Rabindranath Tagore as Gurudeva, and he called the Shantiniketan as a darling of our arts. And it is really true, because if we come to know the activities which were going on that school or the ashram, it is really true. And those who are visited in that ashram, whether it may be young or old, felt their inner beauty. How the children are learning there. What were the activities were going on? What were the activities they are participating? If we observe that, then only we can feel the beauty of that Shantiniketan. In the second para, the author, the narrator is describing the activities which were take place in the morning session. If I were to describe to you one day in the ashram with the boys, that would perhaps best bring home to you its inner beauty. So, if we come to know the activities of the Shantiniketan, then only we come to know how it is. What is the beauty of Shantiniketan? So that's why the author is explaining us the activities of a day of Shantiniketan. Long before sunrise, like the birds in our own Amloki grows, our boys are awake. So, dear students, we are daily get up on 6:30 or 7 o'clock, but in Shantiniketan, students or the boys, they were awake before sunrise. Before sunrise, they will awake. So the activities of the Shantiniketan will begin before sunrise. Just like a birds in the Amloki grows. Amloki grows means it is a tree just like our mango trees. The choristers are the first to rise. So there are so many students, so many boys in the ashram, but there is a group of choristers. Choristers means those who are singing a prayer, a devotional song. Those are called choristers. So before other students will wake up, the choristers awake first, and they will start singing morning hymn around the ashram. The choristers are the first to rise and they go around the ashram. So after getting up, they go around the ashram by singing morning prayer or morning or devotional song. You can hear the voices in the distance drawing nearer and nearer. So when they were singing morning prayer, so when they come nearer, very near to us, we can hear their song very clearly, and when they move forward, it is little bit not clear, and then sound dies away. As the child passes on the another part of the ashram. So when the course passes to another part of the ashram, we can't hear that sound. And then again it comes nearer and nearer. The beauty of the sound in the silent morning air and the sense of joy and reverence which it brings give peace to the soul. So the effect of the song or the effect of the prayer which were sung by the choristers was so effective, and it gives peace to our soul in that silent morning. So after the interval means, so after this okay, after they get up and they were after the pressure, they each boy takes his asan, his square of carpet into the face and sits down on it to meditate in his own place alone. So after this prayer, all the students took their asana, means just like a mat which we are using to make some yogic exercise, like that. Everybody take their mat or carpet and they went to field, and they were starting to doing some exercises in that field, open field, and sits down on it to meditate in his own place alone. So there is no particular place, or nobody will tell us to sit there, here or there. They can sit wherever they feel, or they can sit wherever they like, and they can do their yogic exercise, and they are also doing meditations, which was very important for a student or every person. Doing meditation is, it will help us, help the studies, help to their studies. It will increases their concentration, so that dear students, you better practice doing meditation. Later on, after the meditation, before the school work begins, so before the classes begins, the boys all stand together in the shade of the trees and sing their hymn. So before the classes begins, all the students standing in the shade of the trees, and they were singing their prayer, just like we are singing national anthem before we are going to the classes. Like that only, there also a prayer for the students. Till about 10:30, the work of the school goes on. So at 10 o'clock or 10:10, the school's works were going to begin in Shantiniketan. We have no classrooms. So dear students, this is a very important point, because in our schools there is a classroom, there is a timetable, and teacher will come and they will give the lecture about a lesson. Like that the process was going on in our schools. But here there is no classrooms. Just to imagine how the school was. We have no classrooms. The boys sit with their teachers in the open air under the trees. So in Shantiniketan, there is no buildings, there is no classrooms. In that ashram, class means 8 to 10 students sitting around a teacher and asking the questions and getting the answers. The boys sit with their teacher in the open air under the trees. So the boys sitting with their teacher under the trees, there are no larger classes. So in our schools, there may be 30, 40 or 50 students will be there in a class. But in Shantiniketan, there was no larger classes. A group of 8 or 10 boys are seated around the teacher asking him questions. So here in Shantiniketan, minimum 8 students and maximum 10 students will be there in a class, and they were sitting with their teacher under a tree and asking questions and getting the answers. So students, I think you have all liked the way the classes of the Shantiniketan. Very few books are used. So, in our daily classes, we have nearly 6 subjects like maths, English, Kannada, science, like that, and also some B parts are there, PE, computer, moral classes like this. But in Shantiniketan, they were using only few books. A greater part is carried on through the conversation. So, in Shantiniketan, classes are mainly carried on through conversation. That means students are asking the questions to the teacher and teacher is giving the answer. Just they are clarifying their doubts. That was the conversation method was using in that ashram or in that school. The boys are soon learn to open out all the difficulties to their teachers. So the students who are sitting with their teacher they were openly asking their doubts and they are clarifying their doubts with the teacher without any hesitation. And the teachers get keenly interested in the boys' questions. And the teacher also, they were very eager to solve the doubts of the students. They keenly interested in the boys' questions and answers. Such living education can never be done. So this type of education will not be done because student will not feel boring. They were interestingly participated in this type of education. So when the morning work is over, the boys bath and go to their meal. So after the morning session, students will take bath and they have their meal. About 2 o'clock in the afternoon and the classes begin again. So after the morning session, so there will be, we are seeing in our class that there will be 2 sessions, morning session and afternoon session, and our morning sessions will begin on 9 to 9:30 or 10 o'clock, from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and after 2 o'clock to 4:30, like this. But in Shantiniketan, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the classes begin again. At 2 o'clock, they are going to start their classes. But at this time, the work is chiefly with the hands as well as with the mind. So the students, we are seeing that in our schools, morning 10 to 10:45 means maths teacher will come and they will teach you. Like the timetable will be there. But in Shantiniketan, afternoon session will mainly for practical work. The work is deeply with the hands as well as with the mind. So they are practicing different types of skills according to their states, according to their interest. Handiwork is practiced and the boys' own natural traits are very soon discovered. So, in Shantiniketan, there will be no restrictions. Students can do whatever they like, whatever their interest. There is no restrictions for the students, and there will be a opportunity to do according to their states, and the boys' own natural tastes are very soon discovered. So giving this opportunity, the teachers of the Shantiniketan can discover the natural states of every students, and after that they can guide them about their choosing fields. Some prepare carpentry, so some students may have the interest of doing carpentry work, just like cutting wood and doing some good things, carpentry. Others prepare mechanical work. Some students may do mechanical work like repair work. Others enjoy spinning, weaving. Others become skilled craftsmen or painters. Others are musicians. So students can do whatever they wish, whatever their interest. So that type of atmosphere was there in Shantiniketan. There is very little book work in the afternoon, so there is no place for books in the afternoon session, because it was mainly concentrated on practical work or skill developed works. That's why in the afternoon session there is no place for books. School is over about 4 o'clock. So at 4 o'clock all the school activities will be end, and then there is a rush to get first into the great open fields for football. So after that, after the school work, all the boys of Shantiniketan will go to play football in a big field. Our Shantiniketan boys are famous everywhere for their sports and games. So Shantiniketan boys not only famous in their learning, but they are also famous for games and sports. sports. But today we are seeing that in so many schools there will be no field. There is no field and there is no time for physical exercises in our daily day-to-day schools. In the evening at sunset, they return from the fields and sit down once more for a short time to meditate in silence. So in the evening, after the sunset, they came back to the ashram and again they sit down once again and doing meditation. So this is very important to meditate morning and evening. That type of practices was there in Shantiniketan. As night comes, so now in the 8th paragraph, C.F. Andrews describing the activities which took place at night. As night comes, fairy tales are told, short dramas are recited, our Gurudeva's songs are sung, and different school gatherings are held. So in the night, students are involving in doing dramas and singing Gurudeva's songs and telling the fairy tales. So, seeing all this, we can come to know that there will be a opportunity for all-round development. So now we have to question ourselves what we are doing in our schools. Whether we are giving the opportunities to the students for their all-round development. This was the question. By 9 o'clock, all are glad to retire to rest. So at 9 o'clock, all the students are going to their bed. And again the choristers go around the ashram singing their last evening hymn. So in the same way, when they woke up, the choristers going to sing a morning hymn, and when they are going to bed, that time also once again the choristers singing the prayer. There can be no question as to the happiness of the life of our boys. So, in Shantiniketan, students, there is no lack of happiness. Students are enjoying. Students are learning happily. But what was happening in our schools, that students are coming with heavy bags, and when they are going to their house, they were not happy, as we observe. Their faces tell the story of their joy and their freedom. So the boys, the faces of Shantiniketan boys itself telling us the freedom and the joy they are having in that ashram. There is no freer life in India than the life of our children at Shantiniketan. So this was the only one sentence that we can come to know the atmosphere of Shantiniketan. At last the C.F. Andrews telling us there is no freer life in India than the life of our children at Shantiniketan. So, Shantiniketan students were having the freedom which was not there in anywhere in India. That type of life they were living in Shantiniketan. Thank you very much.